the first thing on the agenda tonight is our meeting minutes. Has everyone had the opportunity to review all three sets, the April the 9th, 2021 closed door board meeting minutes, the April 14th workshop with April 19th, and the board meeting included in both, and then the May 5th, 2021 closed board meeting minutes?
Yes.
Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
The 2 minutes.
A motion has been made to approve all three meeting minutes, April 9th, 2021, April 14th, and April 19th, and May 5th board meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Yes. Second.
Any further discussion? With no further discussion, do I have all yeas?
Yes.
Yay.
Yay.
Let the record show the vote was unanimous. Okay. Good evening, South Shore Falls, and welcome to our May 17th, 2021 board meeting. We hope everyone is doing well and is enjoying the beautiful weather, even though we are in desperate need of some rain. Hopefully we will get some soon. Not too much, but enough, because we certainly need it. As always, we would like to thank Rose Meister for her assistance with our board meeting tonight, and also assisting is Valerie Field. Valerie is filling in during the interim for us to replace the front desk full-time staff. Due to technical difficulties, we are unable to provide the live stream service that we have been providing in the past, but we will be reaching out for service and hope to have things up and running by the next board meeting. Before we move on to business, I have received an email from Roberta Novak, and she wanted me to let you know that her husband, John Novak, passed away on May the 15th. Before John was sick, he was always in the pool hall singing to anyone that would listen, and Roberta and John have lived here for 16 years, and they still love South Shore Falls. There will be a memorial service to be announced at a later date. Please keep Roberta and her family in your thoughts and prayers. Your board of directors is moving forward at a steady pace on major projects by meeting with vendors and other sources to provide guidance where we're needed. We are scheduled to provide a roof presentation on May the 20th at 6 p.m. by Pressure Perfection owner Mike Arnon. And Mike will be on site this Thursday surveying some of the roofs that he will be working on when we move forward with this contract. So if you see him on site, don't be alarmed. We are aware, and we know he will be here. Joe will also be overseeing that project, so he will be in touch with Mike as well. Dan and I will also be meeting with Trey Close. He is a consultant who is going to come in and will be doing an irrigation study for us, and that is also going to be on May the 20th. And as soon as we hear some news from either one of them or have anything to share with you, we will certainly be passing that information on. Now we will move on to Dan Rasky for our treasurer's report.
Right. Some highlights from the March financial report. Our beginning cash balance was $407,628,000. We had increases over the month of $76,566 with an ending balance of $484,194. As far as expenses compared to budget, our monthly expense variance was $54,000 under budget. Year to date, we're running about $96,000 under budget. Year to date net income, we're in the black, $102,480. I move that the financials for the month of March be posted to the website for everybody to take a look at, and of course, if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask after you look at it. Oh, one other thing I wanted to add before we continue with that. We were assigned an accountant now from Castle. Her name's Kay Figueroa. And I've talked to her several times already and seems to be very receptive. Things I've asked her to look into, things I've asked her to check on, she's responded within a day. So looking forward to working with her. Her first financial statement that she's completely in charge of will be the April financial statement, which should be coming out sometime at the end of next week. And again, I want to move that we post the financials for March to our website.
Okay, I have a motion to move the March 2021 financials to our website. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, let the record show that the vote was unanimous. Rose, would you like to provide a manager's report, please?
There are a few more items that have come to, I lost my words. Now, actually, what has happened is since last week, there are just a couple of more items to speak on. We are still working through all the boxes of files in the office, and we have accomplished to get 3.5 drawers done so far, so we're doing good. We're getting them ready to be scanned and shredded by the vendor, so we will be making more room in releasing some of the paper out. The new treadmill has been installed in the gym for all of those that use the gym. And quotes have been submitted for other gym equipment to be repaired under the monthly maintenance, and the board has that quote for this evening. Maintenance projects, bids for cleaning the clubhouse have been requested and submitted to the board. Ping pong table quote has come in and been submitted to the board. Circulation motor for the resistance pool has been submitted to the board. Maintenance has been completed with the TICO calls for the damaged light posts, so we're hoping that will be finalized and completed here shortly. And the painting RFPs, 6 were sent out today to the companies, and we're going to be excited to receive their responses soon. That's it.
Thank you very much. And at this time, since Rose is in the position of both the property manager and clubhouse manager, and we are still seeking lifestyle position, there's no lifestyle report at this time. The next thing on the agenda would be I'm sorry, I thought you had a question. No? Okay. The appointments to 2 of our committees. One is going to be for the CCOC volunteer appointment, and that goes to Angela McElroy. So I would like to appoint her to the CCOC committee, effective today, May the 17th.
I move that we appoint her to the committee.
Second.
Yay.
Welcome aboard.
You
Welcome.
poor soul.
It'll be fun, we promise. The next committee that we have new appointments to is the Finance Committee. And those appointments are to Tom Velasky and Judy Wall. And both of those are being appointed today, May the 17th, 2021, for the Finance Committee. So welcome aboard.
Yep. I move that we accept those for the committee. I second. Good.
All in agreement?
Aye.
Aye.
The vote moves unanimously.
Yay.
Thank you. On to old business, and Joe, I believe, is going to...
Pedro.
Or Pedro, I'm sorry, is going to speak on the end of the tree planting and irrigation moratorium.
Yes, since the rainy season approaching, I think it's about time to remove this moratorium, both on trees and the planting of new plants. And I move a motion to approve the elimination of this moratorium from June 7th and so on.
Okay, I have a motion to the end the tree planting and irrigation moratorium effective June the 7th. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. With no further discussion, the vote stands unanimously. Joe, would you like to report on the residents' updated tree policy and revised tree list?
Yes. After following the guidance of both the ARC and the Landscape Committee, we have redone the HOA/county approved tree list, which will be made available to everyone as of tomorrow morning on the website. Number two, we also have reclarified our tree policy regarding pruning, cutting down, replacement, and you now have a choice not to replace. Both of those will be put on the website tomorrow morning once Tom has a chance to get the information and post them. I'd like to make a motion that both the revised tree policy as well as the new tree list be approved.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's okay, Dan. We're moving on.
I was thinking of the song.
Okay, the next thing, or item on the old business is mask removal for inside events. Joe, would you like to address this?
Yes, I would like to update our COVID Phase 2 guidelines with 3 initiatives effective immediately. Number 1, removing masks for all inside events. Number two, bringing the lagoon pool capacities to an on-pool deck of 120 with an in-pool capacity of 52, which is how it is signed. Number 3, bring the Eagle's Nest pool capacities on the pool deck to 50 with a bathing load of 22 as is signed. Finally, I'd like to add 50% more pool furniture to both existing pools. I'd like to make a motion to approve these changes in our COVID-2 Phase 2 guidelines.
Okay, I have a motion to remove the mask removal for inside events as well as expand the outdoors guidance for both Eagle's Nest Pool and the Lagoon Pool, including additional furniture to be placed, as Joe noted.
Can I just have some discussion on that?
Absolutely.
On the furniture on the outside, one thing I think that was noted is to make sure that we add some tables, to not, the big tables.
You're talking like the little coffee tables.
Exactly.
I think that should be a part of it, but we
Okay.
only have so many to add.
Right. I just wanted
Yeah,
to mention
absolutely.
that. Okay.
Right now, I think some of those, well, like you said, we're short a few of those, and some of our bigger round tables even, I know at least counted 4 and possibly 5 that are cracked and are going to need to be replaced.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're going to have to look into as far as replacing. Also, I know the chairs that are stacked out there, rows that have been there for 15 months now, they're probably going to need to be pressure washed. Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make sure. Okay,
We need this.
so
We need a second.
do we have a second?
Yes, I second this motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So if
And
everyone
the-
is comfortable removing their masks, it's effective immediately. You're invited to do so.
Yay. Thank you. Let the record show the vote was unanimous. Now, Rich, you are going to have to pick yours up and clean up off the floor. You know, that's not allowed. Just because you can take it off doesn't mean you can throw it away like that. I know. I saw that too. Next item on the agenda is the lights on the guardhouse, and this has come up numerous times. Dan would like to speak to that, so I'm going to let him.
Thank you. For now, I'd like to move that we leave the lights up on the guardhouse right now. However, leave them unplugged. I'm not looking forward right now to go through the removal of them or maybe any further decisions on what to do. But for now, we'll leave the lights up there and unplug them so that they're not lit up.
So they haven't been lit up for a while.
I know, but
Yeah.
I think it was kind of not understood what we were going to do one way or another with that.
Well, and in reality, to address that, that would require a lift. We would have to rent a lift to go up there because they're too high to go up on a ladder.
Right. Go ahead.
So I feel like they've been up there. I was told they would have been up for 5 years. I don't know that they've actually been up that long, but I know it has been several years. And they do look pretty during the holiday season. Some people are of the opinion they look nice year-round. But so right now, Dan has suggested to leave them up, but to not have them on, and we will be looking into removing the extension cords that are hanging down on the building so that they're at least not just hanging there. So I would like to, or do I have a second motion
I second.
to leave the lights on the guardhouse as stated?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let the record show that the vote was unanimous. New business. Dan would like to speak on the audit report for 2021.
Yep, the audit report for 2021 is complete. All the board members have had a chance to take a look at it. I had some questions about it. I was able to talk to accountants from different people on it and been satisfied with the answers that I got. What I would like to move is to post the audit report for 2020 on our website so all the residents can look at it, and if you have any questions, that you can raise those questions.
I have a motion to post the 2021 audit report by Dan Rasky. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let the records show the vote was unanimous. Dan, being our treasurer, he's going to go over our quotes, as Rose had mentioned also.
Right. There's a few here that I'll go over, and some of them might be new in some of the packets that Rose has done some work on, and actually some of the residents have too in helping reduce some of the costs. The first one up is, pretty much I think a standard letter for Gladstone and Company. Those are the people that do our audits, and it's a letter of intent for 2021 for them to engage in doing the audit for next year. I'll go through all of them. Oh, I got them up here. The next one is for our janitorial service. And I think most everybody is aware that Irene is out on medical leave right now. So we're having to bring in other people to do the janitorial services in our complexes here. We had one estimate here that was quite a bit higher than what I think anybody had intended to pay for the service. And Rose just got another quote for a service that the people come in here 5 days a week, and it's much more in line to what we were expecting to pay for that service. The next estimate we have here is for the circulation motor. Well, let me go back to these other ones. For the Gladstone, there really isn't a cost associated with that. The janitorial service, so everybody knows, it's $2,400 a month for a 5-day-a-week service right now. So it's something we need to get moving. If we find a better solution or alternative to it, we certainly can do that. But for right now, we need to keep the property, clean and sanitized.
Dan, what's the company?
The company,
Is that Helene Pro or
it's BBK,
BBK.
BBK.
janitorial
This
service.
one here,
Yeah.
the new one?
Yes.
the new one.
Okay, doke, thank you.
And on the second sheet is, kind of the terms and, the cost for that. The next one is an estimate for the circulation motor for the resistance pool. And that cost is $692. There's another quote we had here for FitRev. And that's the company that works on the equipment in the gym. There's work that needs to be done on some of the treadmills. This is basically the treadmills and motors and things that lift the treadmills and different things that need to be done to that. The first invoice that came through on that was for $5,217. And what was it, Tim that worked
Tim
with
Jackson,
it? Tim Jackson
yes.
worked with the company and got it down to $4,669. So that's a yay. And I think the last one I have here is for Bomar Sports for a new ping pong table, outdoor ping pong table. It's a commercial grade. And it's going to replace the one that's there. The one that's currently in the yoga room has collapsed a couple times, and it needs to be replaced. And thought was to move the one from outside to the inside and put this one, which is made for being outside. In fact, the surface of that ping pong table has a 10-year warranty on it. The cost of it is $1,000, and the shipping cost is $267. It comes from North Carolina. The cost on that, if you go to their catalog, is like $1,700 for this ping pong table. And I think, a lot of people probably know Tara, and she was able to work a deal with the company and get it down to much more cheaper than what, it would have cost if we would have went out there on our own. Those are the invoices that I'm looking that I moved to have approved.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve a Gladstone and Company invoice for our 2021 audit. BBK janitorial services for cleaning services to maintain our facilities. AD Pool for a circulation motor that needs to be replaced. FitRev for some equipment that needs to have some repairs made to it, and for a ping pong table purchased from Bomar Sports. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
BB janitorial services is not a part of what we're approving, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then I'd like some discussion on that.
Okay.
Nowhere in this contract does it address the back pool, and I want those restrooms cleaned a minimum of 3 times a week. I want the toilet paper and paper towels also done, so if we can add that to the contract so it's in black and white, then I would go ahead and support the invoice.
Rose, do you know, since you're the one that worked with them, do you know if the back Eagles Nest pool was addressed on that?
There's nothing in here. Just says restrooms, but
I see.
It was addressed, but Joe's right, it wasn't put in here.
yeah, I don't think we
We'll
should
check
move
on
ahead
it.
on that until that's been amended.
We'll get it amended. I'll-
Yeah, but
Could
we
we-
want
could we-
the back pool fully clean. Floors mopped, trash,
Right, the whole thing,
I want the same service back there as we get up front.
up front.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
What about weekends?
Weekends, Rose? Do they provide service on weekends?
No.
This is
Anybody
Monday-
provide service on weekends?
If
The other one.
we ask, there is one that will come in on the weekends that I'm aware of. That's the service we have now, but they're not dependable. When they say they're coming, they're not
They
always
haven't showed
here.
up, yeah. Okay.
I knew they would do it. Let me see how much more it will cost for the weekends as well. And holidays, or if we can switch their days around, that may be something.
I'm just worried about when there's a function here, if we go back to
I
functions.
think we can
that the-
call them in on a special, as long as we give them enough notice.
Okay, thank you.
Rose, one other question. Is there a number of people? I don't see that on the contract either, how many people they're providing to do this service.
No, and I'm not aware of how many they would be sending in either, so I'll have to ask them on that.
So maybe we should go back,
I'll go back to them and
request
ask
that
them.
information,
Yes,
as well as, will they provide even 4 hours on a Saturday and a Sunday?
on a Saturday and Sunday. I will do
More on a
that.
Sunday
Well, more on a
after-
Sunday, because it's
after a
cleanup from
Saturday
people like
event.
Rich Smith, who party on a Saturday. So can we hold on BBK?
Oh, yeah. We can hold on it, and I think we could, if it comes to the point where we need to do an approval offline, we could do that.
Sure.
Or can you do like a provisional, approval if all Joe's points are met? Something like that also. I just hate to delay it because we'll approve for that.
Okay, so we're gonna hold on this one then, Rose, and then as soon as you get Joe's questions answered, but we do need that because, as you mentioned, the current company that's coming in
Isn't
are not,
satisfactory.
no, they're not satisfactory at all. So the motion is made to approve the Gladstone audit for 2021 bill, the AD pool, the Fit Rev, and the Bomar Sports invoice. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let the vote show, or let the record show that the vote was unanimous. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is S4 SUNS 554301, and it's requesting, I believe the finding and suspension brought this to our attention. Rose has a little information on it, as she represented the homeowner that was not able to attend. Would you like to share, Rose, on that, please?
Yes. The homeowner has made statement that 2 years ago he was given verbal approval to put lights in the meridian between the two driveways. He lives in a villa. And he was given the approval by Wayne Bernard, and the manager passed that information along, Jason Durth, to him, and this was 2 years ago, and it's been 2 years and nobody has said anything to him, and he is very concerned that he should have to remove them now after getting a verbal agreement from a previous president.
But no approval from Park.
No.
Okay.
I would like to make a suggestion that the homeowner go back to ARC and seek ARC approval, since verbal approval was given, but the resident was, my understanding, was not directed that he must have ARC approval. He was just given verbal. So I would like to suggest that he go back before the ARC committee and request approval and see where we go from there.
Rose, what are the lights being used in the center of the driveway? Because we do permit them only on the walkway to the front door.
Correct.
Are they
They are
like
the-
ornamental lights?
They're sure.
Oh, they're solar. How tall
Could
are
you come
they?
to the mic, please?
Two inch,
You can't even see them from the street. And
oh,
only-
so they're in the ground.
Yes. No, not fully in the ground.
With 2 feet.
They're up about here.
Yep.
With the bushes in front, you can't see them. I don't have a walkway. None of the side entrances, the little villas, have the walkways. I don't have one.
You're a front villa?
Yes.
Are you a quad?
No.
No. So I don't have, so I asked Jason at the time He came down and looked. I don't see a problem. You can't put them, I don't have a walkway, so if I put them on the other side, so a landscaper's gonna run them over, and so they don't bother nobody. I had in 2 years. Now, I asked my neighbor, but that was, she loved it, and so I wanted to get permission. Then Wayne, a couple of days later, Jason talked to Wayne Bernard. He came down and looked, because he used to walk a lot right past my house. He says, Nick, I have no problem with that. You have no, walkway, and they're not bothering anybody here, and if you put them there, they're just gonna run them down.
Would you have an issue with a member of the art committee visiting your home so they can see what you're doing? And then maybe the art committee can work with you? Okay.
My problem is that I get a letter.
Yeah.
I called Brooke up the next day. Told her I know Brooke for a long time.
Yeah.
Nobody got back. A week and a half went by. Called Brooke up again. Oh, nobody got back to me. Okay, fine. 3 days later, 3 days later, I get a paper that was going to fine me $25 a day. How do you do that? How do you possibly do that? I talked to Rosemary, she was
I'm going to have to throw that to you, Rose. If no one gets back to the gentleman, shame on us.
Yes, it is.
Did we get back to the gentleman?
Brooke
Okay.
said no, she didn't. So.
Okay. Nick, let me, if I may, speak.
Absolutely.
Let me see if I can work something out. And Doug, if you could send one of your committee members over so that we understand the specific lighting that he's doing. And
But shouldn't he put in for ARC first?
well, that's what he has to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so where do I get the paperwork?
The ARC applications are available on the, what is that thing called? A billboard?
On the walkway where all the
You know, the
ads
board
are,
where
the
all
flyers.
the applications and the paperwork are between the desk and the pool room.
The website.
They're also on
ARC
the website.
applications
Or,
in
and they're
there.
on the website also.
There's also one you can print off on the website.
All right.
Okay?
But
Mr.
you
Graver.
can't find me because
Well, I think we need to just review the whole thing from the start. That's what I would like to do. Because unfortunately, Nick, and I'm not using this as an excuse, we are dealing with so many verbal okays that I happen to know for a fact were not done, and I'm not challenging you at all on what you're saying, but basically, we have to enforce the ARC rules. And a lot of these so-called agreements still have to be challenged, so let's start over, submit an ARC application, and let's go from there.
all right.
Fair enough?
So
Okay,
I'm
and
not
Rose, you're going to
applying
take
right
care
now,
of...
right?
I'm sorry?
I'm not.
You're not going to be fined today, unless Tammy calls you tonight sometime.
Thanks, Dick.
Thank you, Nick.
Mr. Graver, come to the office and I will get you your application.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we going?
Okay, still under new business, Rose, we need to ratify the board action without a formal meeting, and which item was that on, please? Do you have that?
Yes, there was a consent to approve the Finance Committee mission statement to be established by, it was the May 1st, 2021, for the purpose of identifying the Finance Committee's mission in accordance with the declaration in the bylaws. We changed that to the 5th because the last board member signed on 5th of May.
Okay. So, do I hear a motion to ratify the board action without a formal meeting regarding the mission statement dated May the 5th?
Yes, I'd make that. I'd move to have that approved.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Dan? Yes. Do I have a second?
Patty, second.
Any further discussion?
Yes. Should the community see this document so they know what we're talking about?
It'll be on the website now.
With all of them. Yep.
As soon as we are
Terrific.
approving them. And we will be, as I mentioned at the board workshop, we will be revisiting and revising all of the mission statements that are pertaining to any of the committees. We're going to probably take it a committee at a time. The next being the Covenants and Finding and Suspension Committee, and then we will move on to the Art Committee. And as we move forward, all the revisions will be posted out on the website. Okay. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let the records show that the vote was unanimous. Rose, next thing you have is an approval for lease and additional occupant.
Yes, we have one application for board approval of a lease, and we also have one additional occupant application for the board approval. So one's a lease and one's a new occupant.
Okay, 6-month lease. Okay.
Actually, it's longer than 6 months.
Yeah.
It looks like a year and a half.
Correct.
Maybe I was looking, I'm looking at the additional occupant was 6 months, I'm sorry. Okay,
Which I would like to challenge that, please. 6 months needs to be specific with dates. If we could ask the resident to do that for our record.
is that, Rose, is it starting from 4/20/2021? 6 months from there?
It appears that it's going to be starting from 4/20/21 the way it's written, yes.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
I can verify that it will be 6 months from that date.
Right here. Right,
I have
he's
June
asking for
1st.
6 months.
From when to when? His submission date
I'm
may
saying
not
for-
be the
Actual
start
move-in.
6 months.
right.
Okay, can we get clarification on that,
Yes,
please?
I will.
Okay.
So, can I move to have this approved pending the dates being put in here for the 6-month period?
Okay, so I have a motion to approve 1 year and a half lease agreement and a 6-month new occupant added to a resident with the understanding that we still need clarification of the beginning and end date for the 6 months.
Second.
Do I have a second? We have a second.
Good job.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Let the record show the vote was unanimous. Okay. Before I move to the next one, and Joe, did you miss something back when we were talking about the mask removal and the ballroom rental? Were you not going to address that at the same time or
I
not?
wanted to see if you would catch it.
Well, I caught it.
Got it, girl.
Everybody was so excited about the
I would like to present another ballroom update guideline driven by a residents' requests to be able to hold private events in the ballroom for family and friends. The current verbiage doesn't clarify that they may do that. So, the revision will be resident-sponsored small private party rentals are permissible upon the approval of the lifestyle director. Other resident-sponsored party rentals open to the entire community are community events subject to ballroom rules except for the rental fee and the number of attendees limited by fire code. Residents may sponsor one per year per lot based on availability. The second clarification is the original bullet was misinterpreted by some, our fault for not making it clear. And that has to do with sponsoring family reunions. We have changed that, and the new bullet will read, the ballroom may be rented by a member or resident on behalf of an outside business, club, or group for training seminars, meetings, and luncheons. The non-resident rates will apply. The ballroom may not be rented for weddings. So basically, everything but weddings will now be allowed to be rented by residents and businesses alike. So I make the motion to approve the update on the ballroom guidelines.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let the record show the vote was unanimous. And the last thing on the agenda under new business this evening is to appoint our board liaisons for our committees. And they are appointed as follows. The architectural committee the board liaison for the architectural committee will be Pedro Casals. The board liaison for the CCOC committee will be Patty Smith. The board liaison committee for the document review committee will be Joe Leahy. The board liaison for the finance committee will be Dan Rasky. The board liaison for the covenants/findings and suspension committee will be Tammy Bramall. The board liaison for the landscape committee will be Dan Rasky. The board liaison for the lifestyle and welcoming committee will be Joe Leahy. The board liaison person for the MAC committee will be Pedro Casals, and the board liaison for the Ponds committee will be Dan Rasky and Tammy Bramall. So, do I have any further discussion? We all talked. I spoke with each of you individually, and you all felt comfortable with those positions.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
Yes.
any questions? Okay. So, moving forward to the next committee, your next committee meeting, which we also have the new schedule, which Joe had reached out to each committee chairperson. We will have this posted on the website as well, and so your new board liaison will be reporting at your next committee meeting.
And thank you to those chairs who agreed to change their locations and times. So now we know when every committee meets during the same time and we have the same reservation for the same location. Consistency is a good thing, and I'm sure it will prevent miscommunication from the desk, who sometimes says so.
We don't know. Okay. At this time, our next point of business is to open it up to the homeowners for comments.
May I share something first?
Absolutely. Joe's on a roll tonight. And
I had the opportunity to work the desk today, and I witnessed two things that, had I not, let me just say I witnessed two things that should have never happened. I know the residents specifically involved, and I'm going to share them with the community because I want you all to know. We often say, why does our castle staff leave us? Well, let me give you an example. Two residents walked in, one with a mask, one without. Jordan very kindly asked the second gentleman to put on his mask. The feedback that came out of the gentleman's mouth was completely unnecessary and uncalled for. As long as we have rules in the community, we're required to follow them. I don't know who we think we are, but I was so annoyed it took everything I had to stay in the chair. Speaking for another member of the board, he got a phone call this morning from a resident in the lockers. The man demanded that we immediately run paper towels over to him. Quote, "Your customer service is for shit, and if you go to work here, you better learn how to speak English." Now, if any of you were on the other side of those comments, I'm sure you would understand that they weren't appropriate and they would not be condoned. I simply bring that up because you need to understand what these people go through. Please complain properly, but don't annihilate one's personality when you don't have to. It's childish, it's ignorant, and it should never, never happen. Thank you.
I also want to say before we move forward, I know, Rich, you're going to get your turn.
Rich, bring your chair up, drop the microphone.
I think we have two things of business to take care of, but in regards to the gentleman who needed some clean towels and such in the gym, I personally went over there, found the dirty towels in the closet. We, in the meantime, had placed out some paper towels. John A. was over there and had replenished the sanitized wipes out of the little machines, and I personally took home the hand towels and brought them back this evening before the board meeting so that the gym does have clean hand towels at this time. So, to Joe's point, some of this is unnecessary, and we surely would appreciate a little nicer attitude when you come to the clubhouse. And I know we didn't approve the board liaison appointments. So at this time, let's backtrack. Everyone is in agreement that we're all comfortable with our positions, and
I move to have the liaison positions approved.
do I have a second?
I second.
Yes, second, I second the liaisons.
Oh, the liaison. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let the record show the vote was unanimous. Out of order, but we got it in. Okay, Mr. Rich Schmidt, it's your turn to have the floor.
3 minutes.
Rich Schmidt, 440 Cedar Falls Drive. I want to thank the board for relaxing the mask requirements and bringing the community in line with the latest guidelines for the CDC. I realize, and we all realize, this pandemic is not over, but we're emerging from it. And I applaud the board for their caution. I was told to be patient, and I probably wasn't. So I apologize if I've been critical, but it's something that I didn't move here to move into a nursing home. I didn't want to stay in my house. I want to enjoy this community. So I have a big, long script that I can't read anymore.
We beat you to it.
Oh, good catch.
Good catch.
I can't use my script, but I do have one question, a point of clarification. When Joe, when you talked about the guidelines for the pools, you didn't mention the guidelines for the clubhouse itself. Now, does this new protocol mean that there's no more limits? For instance, tonight we could only have 72 people attend, and bingo has a number, and various activities have been assigned certain numbers. Is that relaxed, or?
The current capacities are still in effect, but the ballroom capacity is up to 125.
We're at,
So we're not at 72 any longer.
No, so any indoor event that we're having here, a social event?
We'd like you to, yeah.
Okay.
I believe it's, correct me if I'm wrong, 10 in the arts and craft room, 8 in the pool room, 8 in the library, 120 some odd in here. So we will most likely be removing the balance of the COVID guidelines at our next board meeting, depending on how this goes. We still have a lot of residents who are hesitant with what we're doing. So gradually we're easing up on the guidelines of the establishment.
And for those residents, I say, if they're reluctant to come out, they should do what the previous board told them to do, and they're safer at home.
Yes,
If that's your decision, I respect that.
yeah.
But the other thing I was going to say is we're planning a Memorial Day barbecue. There was a limit on 80 people. Is that going to be relaxed?
That has been relaxed.
I was going to address that in a minute, but go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, it didn't come up. Thank you.
No,
No, it's
it did
perfect.
come up. The bottom line is, Tammy's going to address that right now. Go, Tammy, go.
Yes, because the list to sign up for, it was placed at 80 based on the pool deck attendance allowance. We are now going to allow those that are on a waiting list, if you would like to participate in the Memorial Day barbecue. That list is going to remain open. We are going to increase the outside pool deck to 100, was it, Joe?
The Lagoon pool deck
Yeah,
to 120,
120.
Eagle's Nest pool deck to 50, and they were all put in place effective immediately.
And in addition, should we need, because sometimes I remember at our Memorial Day cookouts, some people like to come indoors and sit if it was too hot. The back ballroom, ballroom 2, will be open just for seating to come in and eat if you like. There will be some card games, I believe, going on in ballroom 1. So since we're in and out of that back door area and that's where the food will be, that's certainly what we're looking at there. It'll not be the 120 because, again, it's only one half of that ballroom. So that does allow for more to attend the Memorial Day barbecue. We also are not going to put a stipulation on, yes, this is an HOA paid event per se with donations. Some food donations are coming from the JDRF Kentucky Derby fundraising event that was held. So it's not totally HOA paid. So if you have a guest and you would like to bring them, they're welcome to come. There's been one suggestion, and I'll let the board weigh in on this, is how they would like to handle it, as to whether or not the guests should be required to pay, or if we put a donation jar or something out there. This is just has been brought up. So, board members, what's your all's opinion on that?
You want me to start, really?
Sure, Patty, you've been missed. Welcome back.
Yes, Patty's been
Out of town.
out of town and happier than you will never realize. Welcome back, Miss Patty.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I don't think it's a bad idea since we're limiting our residents to have guest pay. And if it doesn't come to us, it can go to the food bank. It can go somewhere. But sometimes I think people overdo it with the guests. And it's come to our, I've been on vacation, so we've been notified that some people don't like it, that I believe the Mother's Day thing, that they accepted guests before they let all the residents come. So I think the residents should be the first. We live here, you know. If you want to bring a guest, but that guest will have to pay. And we can donate that money for a good cause. JD, we could give it back to juvenile diabetes if they're donating some of the food. But that's just my opinion. Joe?
I actually agree. I think on a totally HOA-funded event, I do think a guest should have to pay a nominal fee. And the other thing that Patty mentioned that I agree is if the guest is this is going to sound crazy, a guest is not a resident and shouldn't take the spot of a resident who wants to attend the event. Sherry, she's the social police, effective immediately. All in favor?
I would like to just
Nick,
clarify.
I don't know how to answer your question. It's something we're going to have to think on.
Can you give your name and your...
Sherry Schumacher, 338 Cedar, Welcome Lifestyle. Just like to clarify for the board and the rest of the community, we're working with the Veterans Group on this particular event because it is important. They will be doing a ceremony at noon. I've pinned together to send to you a message that we would like to send out to the community to clarify what's happening for this event. In working with the Veterans Group, Matt, we've got volunteer people that are going to be grilling hot dogs, so we're doing hot dogs, chips, and a drink. 1 hot dog per person, okay? No potluck, okay? So we want to clarify that so that when people come in and they think they're going to get a hot dog eating contest, that's not happening, okay? It's 1 hot dog per person. It's going to be handed out in that way. So we want to thank our committee who are going to help us grill the hot dogs and have those ready to serve.
Does that 1 person or 1 per hot dog include guests?
We hadn't really discussed the guest. I guess I don't know that we've seen an inordinate amount of guests in these events.
We haven't, and I think if the sponsoring...
It's 1 hot dog.
If the sponsoring committee wants to include guests, I'd like it to be their decision, frankly.
Yeah, it's 1 hot dog is what we're talking about. I mean, we're not talking about a great deal of money that we're, somebody has their grandkid there, kind of thing. But if we're, like I said, in our last meeting, we were going to pin out something to send just for clarification, and also the increased sign-up. We would like that message, we'll put in there the time and date in which the sign-ups need to be completed, because we've got to count how many hot dogs we need in order for them to make that purchase and have the materials.
And the food that's going to be donated is the pulled pork. So there's going to be some pulled pork sandwiches. Judy Leiden's not here, and I think there's 3 containers.
Do they have buns with that, or is that just the
No, I
the
think
meat?
we will need buns.
Okay. I've got a note to circle back this week to finalize some of those details, if we're going to need some buns and how much meat's there on that.
Okay.
When you send this note out, could you please clarify whether guests are invited or not, or how you would like to handle that?
What is the board's perception on guests that you think we should include?
Boy, you're good at tennis. Tammy, your opinion now.
I'm going to suggest, and then I'm not talking about right now, but moving forward for a HOA paid event, I think there should be a sheet for the residents and a sheet for the guests. And I mean, if we end up with 20 guests, that's a different story. We may have to look at it based on each event. If the Mother's Day event, I think there were 4 or 5 maybe ladies. We're talking 5 ladies that came. And there again, food was donated. It was not all purchased by the HOA. So to me, and maybe I'm being a little sensitive, but under the circumstances, everything's been shut down for 15 months. We didn't do any of these events last year in 2020 we've all missed our families. We all are excited to see them. If a grandchild is here and you want to bring them and feed them a hot dog, let me know how many. I'll buy the hot dog. I mean, I think
Again, we
it's a
haven't
little-
seen an inordinate amount. And
No.
in the past, we've done potlucks. Now, we're not doing potlucks now because of the COVID thing. So, you know, it's not like it's cost the HOA anything to feed these extra couple kids and whatever. To Patty's point, going forward, if there is a limited number of people allowed, then we definitely don't want a resident saying, well, I didn't get to go because somebody brought a guest. So we
True.
want to make sure that we're cognizant of that.
Absolutely. That's why I think we need to start tracking it, unfortunately, if it's a,
So, Rose, I'll touch base with you and Brooke that we get that message out this week because we'll need a count for making the purchase.
Okay. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon.
thank you.
Mr. Lewis.
Hi, Louis Stone. And I think it's a great idea. We start charging the guests, but let's go along, pursue this further. When my granddaughter comes, she uses the resistance pool, which uses up some of the motor. So I want to know how much per lap I should pay for that. You're creating a problem where there never was a problem, and for no reason. So let's forget about it. Let's leave things as they were. If the problem arises, then face it. But it's ridiculous to charge a guest, by definition, as somebody who is welcome to your home and welcome to your community and is accorded all the privileges.
How old is your granddaughter?
22.
Oh, okay. She's allowed in the resistance pool. Thank you.
Being strictly on the rules, we passed a rule tonight that you don't have to wear masks. Were the members of the board who were sitting there before that was passed, who were not wearing masks, were they in violation?
The only reason we do that, and I guess I should have addressed it before, like I have in the past, we've all been vaccinated. We are keeping our
Rule
distance.
is a rule. No.
You're-
A rule is a rule. There are reasons for everything.
You're correct, but one of the biggest issues has been those, when we live stream, cannot understand us clearly. So therefore,
Rule.
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Rose,
We
please
got
write
it.
us all up on a violation of no masks. Send us to the Finding and Suspension Committee. Thank you, Louis. Hello, Roger.
Mr. Whitehouse, how are you?
Good.
Jamie,
Hi,
Dan,
Hello.
Pedro, and
Pat.
Patty. Yes, ma'am. Roger Brown, 365 Cedar Falls Drive. The board has mentioned all the rooms and the capacities. The only one they haven't mentioned is the coffee shop. What are we going to do there? Is it takeout only still? Can we go in and sit down, have a cup of coffee? The coffee shop. Remember that? Nobody.
There is a capacity.
I go in and enjoy the coffee shop when it's open.
There is a capacity on the coffee shop.
Okay.
I'm going to stick my neck out. I believe it's 4.
Nobody said anything. 4?
Well, yeah, I'd have to pull up the Phase 2 guidelines where the capacities are listed. I see no one's moving over there to help me out. I'd have to pull up the Phase 2. You know, the Phase 2.
I'm trying to find it.
Let us see.
Can you address? Can you dig into that and maybe increase?
Yeah, we're going to get you an answer right now, and if it is too low, we'll be happy to add that to the list.
Okay.
But right now, capacity guidelines, with the exception of what we've just revised, are in place.
Okay.
So
That's
once
fine.
we get
That's
the
fine.
answer, we may be able to take care of that now, can we? Madam President?
I thought we were going to address all
All
those
at the
revisions
workshop.
at the next workshop,
Okay.
so, but I don't know that what you're saying seems, awfully low.
Yeah, that's why I want to check it. Research Department, hello?
Let's see if there's any more questions while she's left, if you don't mind, Roger.
We also need to have Joe, or Dan and Pedro weigh in on the charge a fee or no fee for
guests.
For guests. So would you like to do that, Dan?
Guests are part of our family, I guess the way I look at it. I guess it would be up to the particular event. I mean, if it's a hot dog party, I don't know how you would, judge that or charge something for that. But if it's a major event that's going to cost the HOA a considerable amount of money, then we may want to consider that. A solution to residents having no problem getting onto an event, why not have a sign-up period for residents like the first week or whatever, and only residents can sign up for that period of time. And after that, it's, pretty well open.
Pedro?
Rose was waving at me. I don't know what she was.
Pedro?
Well, in the past we had events here that were paid, and whoever brought gas here, I brought gases here, and we paid for that. So in the events fully supported by the HOA, I believe that would be fair to pay for your gas. But on the other hand, I also believe that that money should be used for something bigger. And I agree with Patty to donate that money for a good cause.
No.
Okay, what we have here-
Roger, hang on, sir.
We're still
You
waiting.
come back in here. You asked a question, I told you I'd get you an answer. Now sit down.
Capacity guidelines, ballroom 132, 22 tables of 6, library 8, pool room 8, arts and craft room 10, lagoon pool 80, on total pool deck area 50 in combined pools, Eagle's Nest pool 30 on pool deck, 20 in pool. No capacity guidelines are suggested for other amenities.
How many would you like?
For the amount of chairs,
How many would you like? How many people would you like during your coffee time with your friends of 3?
Oh.
I think basically, and I'm speaking out of turn, if there are no capacity guidelines on it, the number of chairs currently in the room should answer your question. But it is my pleasure. Thank you, Roger.
Thanks, Roger.
Thank you.
Anybody
So,
else?
Rose, do we need to vote on whether or not, how we're going to move forward on the charging visitors or not? It wasn't on the agenda. We're just gonna.
I think it goes to the workshop.
We're gonna forward that to the workshop. Any other questions from the floor?
Okay, we're out of here.
Yes, sir.
Matt Frost, 332 Mystic Falls Drive. I've lived here just over 3.5 years, and once a week I go out on a run, one of the few joggers we have around here, and unfortunately it seems like this is the worst I've seen it, particularly it's a safety issue, is people stopping for the stop signs that we have. And the ones I see, I go from my house to the back gate. I know Joe's talked about this previously, but I go out there for 65 to 75 minutes once a week, and I'll tell you, it's probably 7 or 8 out of 10 people in vehicles that come up to these stop signs either don't stop at all, completely blow through them, or they kind of come to what we used to call a California rolling stop where I was raised, and kind of look, there's nobody there, and then just continue right through. And I've almost been hit a couple times myself. It's residents, it's their guests, it's our vendors, it's Alexander's, our landscapers, it's FedEx, it's UPS, it's all the service providers too. Doesn't matter who. And it's kind of like a hurricane hitting the Gulf Coast. It's not if, it's when. Something's going to happen where somebody's going to get hit and get hurt or worse. And not really sure what we can do about it. I know before the COVID, we did have an off-duty Hillsborough County deputy that was supposed to be spending off-duty time in our HOA dollars, keeping an eye on things. But that went away with the COVID, you know, their manning requirements. I know the speed bump issue has been brought up in the past, and there was legalities associated with that, but something really needs to be done, in my opinion, just from what I've seen, because it's only getting worse, you know, and 7 or 8 out of 10 aren't even adhering to the stop signs. We're talking about replacing all the signage in the community. Save your money, because folks aren't even paying attention to them at this point, you know. I guess my only thing is, for those of us who are out there that aren't actually adhering to the signs, I wonder if it'd be different if that person walking, jogging, biking, or even in another vehicle passing in front of this person that's not going to stop was somebody they know and that they care about. Would they? So, thank you.
Great point.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
point. Great
Thank
point.
you.
Appreciate it, Matt.
And this is not the first time this has been brought to the attention of even this board or previous boards, so.
It's another issue of entitlement, period. So I don't know. Matt, your point is so well taken. And I don't think, to be honest, I have the solution. But for some reason, when people come to the stop sign, particularly on Falls Boulevard and Sunset, they see a stop sign and it means right turn on red. So they just, did someone say, what does that mean? You know when you come to a right-hand turn on red and you're okay to go? Oh, was that Lori? I'll talk to you later. It's just a very good point.
I understood, Joe.
All right, Lori told me to kind of shut up and go away, so.
Well, at this time, I don't think there's anything that, we're not going to put in a speed bump. Our next option is bring back in a security officer if we decide to do that. We can just plead with the association to please follow the rules of the road. And we all know them. Slow down before, like just discussed, someone does get seriously injured, and that will not be a good day. Yeah, we can put that on a workshop item and further discuss that then. Any other questions from the floor? Board, everyone? No other questions, Patty?
No, I'm good.